Okay, this is now the 5 minute tarot for the 4th of July 2017. And I was going to look at Chad's video today, but I'll do it tomorrow instead. And this is because Rob made the point with the Seven of Swords that maybe I need to become better organized. And it's true enough. And so I've got a few points I'd like to make today. And I for myself, I would just keep producing stuff, but then I would have a backlog of points that I had to make or that I hadn't made and I had neglected. So rather than keep moving forward, which is kind of easy to do, I think I should stop for the moment and clear up a few things or mention a couple of things first, and then we'll go back and look at Chad's video tomorrow. So first, Dale left some comments yesterday, I think, to do with Rob's video about the Seven of Swords. You should take a look at what he says in the comments from I think the 2nd of July, that video, the one in the Seven of Swords anyway, because they're interesting and they're good points that he makes. Not just the observations, but I mean by that, not just the meanings that he relates to the Seven of Swords, but also gives you an idea of how he came about that idea, those ideas. And I think we can learn something from or benefit from understanding a bit of Dale's process or Dale's method. So that's one point. Another one is that Rob had the idea that instead of you making a video about how to move the channel forward, it might be interesting for you to ask me a question. I would pick a card and give you an answer, and then you would comment on whether this answer made sense or some kind of feedback on the answer that was given. The only problem with that is I had a good teacher. And one of the things that she taught me early on was you don't do free readings. Because there's karma. And so if you use a tarot card and explain something to somebody or suggest something and they go ahead and do it, they change their karma. And it's because of you and because of the card that you picked, you caused a change in that person's karma. If you get paid some cash, then it's business and it doesn't matter. If there was no exchange of money, this is what I was taught, and I believe it and accept it and cooperate with it. So if there's an exchange of money, it's business. If there's no exchange of money, then you become involved in the other person's karma and the other person becomes involved in your karma. And it can get messy because you take on other people's problems, other people's lessons, and vice versa. So they can take on stuff that really doesn't belong to them. So if it's a family member, or a loved one, that's different because you're already involved with their life and their whole life experience anyway. But if it's a stranger or somebody you don't know or somebody you're not great friends with, then you're asking for trouble if you do a reading for them and don't get paid. And this is something that people will argue with me about, but I can't help it. This is what I was taught, and it's true. So we all ought to follow that particular rule. So with that in mind, sorry, Rob, I can't do it the way you suggested it. The other thing was when Lisa picked Temperance reversed, I had a couple of things I wanted to mention to do with that particular card and relating to the question. So we've got an angel in the Temperance card and it's upside down. So the question was, how do we move this channel forward? So with the angel upside down, does it mean, or we might think it means, don't take the higher route, right? Because the angel can represent understanding and life lessons and so on. And the higher way, we could, as a general statement, we could call it the higher way, or the spiritual way, if you want to use the word spiritual, which I personally don't like using because it's hard to know what it actually means. But anyway, the angel can represent the spiritual way, but because it's upside down, it's just telling us don't go for the higher way with this particular channel. But somehow that doesn't really make sense, because we want to make the tarot valuable and useful and give, and as Rob said, help people to live the best that they can do. So if the angel reversed or temperance reversed isn't stay away from the higher path, what else can it mean? And maybe what it means is angels. Some people are really into angels and they've got their guardian angel. But the fact that it's upside down, maybe what we do is with this channel, we're not supposed to look to invisible beings to do it for us. You know what I mean? You can decide that you're going to develop yourself, but you're not actually going to make any effort because the angels are going to do it for you, or some higher power is going to do it for you. And so you're going to sit back and wait for it to happen because the higher power is going to take care of it. And I think the temperance card reversed is telling us, if we have the attitude that we don't have to make much of an effort because the invisible forces are going to do it, then that's not the way to go. That's a mistake. So I think that could be one meaning of temperance reversed for how do we move the channel forward. And the other thing is temperance can mean moderation, right? There was a temperance movement in the US in the 20s where they didn't drink alcohol. And so temperance can mean do things in moderation, but it's upside down. So that can mean when it comes to this channel, we should all go crazy. I don't mean go insane, but I think it means try everything. Rather than think we ought to do it a certain way and not allow any room for experiment or for making a bad decision or for going in the wrong direction. And then you discover, oh, shouldn't have gone that way. And then you come back and go in a better direction. So I think with temperance reversed, we should be open to trying and incorporating knowledge that we gain in different areas of life to the tarot. And that can mean that when you notice something in a TV show, don't forget the tarot. Or when you notice something in a picture that you see in a magazine, don't forget the tarot. And when you observe an argument between two people at work, don't forget the tarot and see how you can relate your observation about their behavior and what they said and how they said it and how effective the argument was. Relate that to some kind of tarot card or combination of tarot cards. And there's a line in Bob Dylan, and the song I think is Wedding Song. And he says at one point, the time that is you, I think this is it, the time that is yours and mine to be upon this earth, we'll play it out the best we can, whatever it may be worth. And I think that's kind of temperance reversed. So the time that we've got with the tarot, play it out the best that we can. It won't be perfect all the time. We'll make mistakes. We'll end up in dead ends, and we'll try and develop a habit and we'll fall off, and we'll have to make more of an effort to develop that particular habit. Maybe it's taking notes or keeping a notebook or something like that. But play it out the best we can, whatever it may be worth. So we're not making any judgment about whether we're not offended if somebody thinks the tarot is worthless and stupid. That's your opinion. You know, I don't have to believe that, but if that's what you want to believe, go for it. So you play out your time on earth the best that you can, and I'm going to play out my time on earth the best that I can. The other thing is, one last point. There was a famous photographer, well-known photographer called Patrick Litchfield. He was Lord Litchfield. And he said at one point that photography is 5% technique and 95% good taste. And that's how you can look at a photograph and decide whether it's a good photograph or not. Does it show good taste on the part of the photographer? So when it comes to your tarot studies, is what you're studying and is the interpretation that you give for a card, does it show good taste? In which case, go with it and stick with it. But if it doesn't show good taste, make some improvements for yourself. That was it for today. Thank you very much. So tomorrow we'll look at Chad's video. Okay, bye-bye.